they had a certain something.
His talent was God-sent.
I had never seen anyone perform the way he did.
They chased one goal relentlessly.
Anywhere Jamie got a chance to sing to somebody, he'd do it.
The drive was in him to prove himself over and over again.
He wanted to become a superstar.
Through struggles.
In a nutshell, he was abandoned by his birth parents.
That was difficult as he was growing up, not having his mom or dad there in his life.
Jamie was just devastated.
And setbacks.
He went to L.A. to sign a record deal.
It's hard to break in as a musician, being a comedian.
People didn't respect him as a singer.
That was a Hollywood wake-up call. Everything that you touch does not turn to gold.
Some people are just driven. A Texas boy's defiant pursuit of superstardom.
He just forged ahead, honed his craft, and intensified his focus.
He wanted to get over that hill and get on top.
It was like, hey, I'm not gonna be denied.
Never before seen images, stories, and revelations from the people who know what really happened.
Jamie was never one-woman person.
He had a lot of groupies.
And then he called me one night and said, I just had a kid.
Jamie was scared to death.
Because they lived it with him.
Everything that he was doing was off of hustle. I gotta try to hustle. I have to make it. And I'm not going home until I do.
This is Driven, Jamie Foxx.
Jamie Foxx was born Eric Marlon Bishop in Dallas, Texas, Parkland Hospital, December 13th, 1967. To Darryl Bishop and Louise Annette Talley. When he was born, his parents was very busy working, trying to make a living. And my parents, his granny and his granddaddy, was able to watch after him more than they could at the time.
Eric's granny, Mrs. Talley, felt that she could be a better mother.
So when Eric was 7 months old, his grandparents, Mark and Estelle Talley, adopted him, and he moved to Terrell to live with them.
Terrell, Texas is 25 miles east of Dallas.
Terrell is what I would call a typical Texas southern town.
15,000 people, population, I think, at the time. It had the railroad tracks down the middle.
Everybody of color lived on one side, and everybody of the other race lived on the other side.
There was that racial division that existed growing up.
Mr. and Mrs. Talley were people who were grounded in the church, well-respected in the community.
Religion was a very main part of their lives.
That was a requirement at Miss Talley's house that you go to church. Eric was at church every Sunday, holding his grandmother's hand.
I know he had a very, very good relationship with his grandmother. It was very close to her, had a lot of respect for her.
Mrs. Talley owned ABC Daycare Center, and she loved children. Miss Talley believed in molding and shaping children.
She wanted us to be something, make something of ourselves.
She said, you're always to be respectful, chin up, shoulders back, speak firm.
She taught Eric how to be graceful and how to be polite. Eric wanted to do everything he possibly could to make his grandparents proud of him. Mr. Talley worked at the state hospital.
He was very quiet, very strict.
Mr. Talley didn't speak very often, but when he spoke with authority.
He didn't say very much, but he loved Eric. He really loved him.
He was that father figure that Eric never really got from his biological father.
That was difficult for Eric as he was growing up, not having his mom or dad there in his life.
So in order to create a distraction from him focusing on that, Miss Talley felt as though, let's just get him involved in some other things.
At age 3, she started him taking piano lessons.
Miss Talley, she was going to make sure that he was going to be as good as he possibly could at playing the piano.
Miss Talley would have to stay on him to practice. In fact, she would use a little pencil to hit his hands when he was playing the piano.
There was plenty of times when he would throw tantrums.
He would want to go outside and play.
She'd be standing out in the yard and say, boy, you better get in here and get on this piano. It didn't take him long to catch on. And for a 3 or 4-year-old to even be able to play the notes and read the notes of a piano, that's what's amazing to me.
And then he started singing along with the playing.
He got a big kick out of it. He was starting to be an entertainer at a very early age.
In 1972, Eric attended Kennedy Elementary School.
Eric was a sponge. In kindergarten, he was already above average.
It was his first time actually being away or out on his own, and he was very quiet and shy.
You could sense at times when there was this sadness in him. He'd have a walk that was slow with his head hung down.
I heard him say that he wished that he had had a closer relationship with his birth mother.
He would be alone and do things, maybe playing the piano, to take his mind off other things.
Outside the piano, he would watch TV.
Watching Richard Pryor, Fred Sanford, and different other comedians. It was just kind of strange how quickly it just got inside of him.
Eric could imitate anybody. Bill Cosby, you name it.
The problems that he was facing, to keep it from really affecting him, he turned to comedy.
He was talking, he was cracking jokes, he was making students laugh.
The teacher would let him get up in front of class from time to time and tell jokes.
He used the comedy side to bring in more friends. And also, it was something that he just loved, he had a passion for.
When Eric was 12, he entered Terrell Middle School.
At our school, the auditorium was off limits and had a piano. Instead of being at lunch, everybody was in the auditorium listening to Eric.
He would play different songs for us.
He would have a crowd of girls around there.
And they would go crazy.
Eric was already kind of a ladies' man. When Eric felt the electricity from the crowd, you could just see that sort of bring him alive. He ate that up. He loved that attention.
At that time, Eric became the director of music at Bethlehem Baptist Church.
Eric directed a choir of about 200 young people.
Even though he was that young, he was able to handle the job.
Eric's responsibilities were to come up with the music the choir was going to sing.
I remember Eric even writing songs, rearranging hymns.
He always was a leader, taking charge, always doing what needed to be done.
In 1982, Eric entered Terrell High School.
At that time, Eric was excelling in everything. He played basketball and he ran track. And of course, Eric was on the football team.
He was the star quarterback.
He was fearless, and he would carry that ball fast and shifty.
Eric became the first quarterback in Terrell history to pass for 1,000 yards.
He was often on the front page of the Terrell sport page because of his accomplishments.
It looked like he had everything that, he could ever want.
But there was a damper there, not being able to have, your biological mother, your biological father in support of you.
I do recall the fact that he was very blue at times because they never seemed to pay much attention to him.
Even though he knew Miss Talley would be there to support him, Mr. Mark would be there to support him. In his back of his mind, it's like, okay, I'm going to give it my best. Hope they get a chance to just come, maybe just drop into a game and I can glance up there and see it.
And it's probably an awful feeling to look up in the crowd after a win. All you have is everybody else's parents saying, good job, Eric, good job. It had to have been hard.